Genre: Narrative Nonfiction and Informational Texts. Level D, Lesson 33. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to recognize structures of narrative nonfiction and informational text. Identify clues to help determine how ideas are organized. What you should know before doing this lesson. Authors support main ideas with important details connected to the main idea. Authors use sequence to order events in time order and steps in a process. Steps in a process are placed in a particular order for a good reason. Biographies are true stories about a real person and are organized in time order. Authors use clue words to show time order and steps in a process. Some awesome words to look at before we read. Desperate. Say the word. Desperate. Desperate is an adjective. It means feeling a hopeless sense that a situation is so bad it would be impossible to deal with. A synonym for desperate is hopeless. Eventually. Say the word. Eventually. Eventually is an adverb. It means after a long delay or a series of problems. A synonym for eventually is in time. Enslaved. Say the word. Enslaved. Enslaved is a verb. It means cause someone to lose their freedom. A synonym for enslaved is suppressed. Introduction: Common text structures. Here are some common text structures of nonfiction. These graphic organizers can help you see how writing is organized. In true stories, such as biographies, authors usually organize ideas by time. The story moves from the past to the present. In writing that tells you how to do something, the author gives step-by-step directions. Authors of nonfiction sometimes organize ideas by main idea and supporting details. Often, authors use more than one kind of organization. For example, you might read a text that is organized in time order, but also tells about causes and effects or problems and solutions. Look for clues in the beginning of a passage to figure out how ideas are organized. Here is an example of how two text structures are used in a single text. Follow along as I read this excerpt. From A Lot to Learn. The summer of my 4th grade year, I learned important lessons about following directions and about running a successful business. It all began with my desperate longing for a skateboard. Instead of listening to my parents tell me it was too expensive, I decided to make the money myself. I would open a lemonade stand. Everyone at the park across the street was sure to want a delicious drink. Look at the first sentence highlighted in blue. How do you think this passage is organized? The first sentence tells the main idea of the passage. This gives you the clue that the writing will be organized by main idea and details. Look at the green highlighted phrase. How is "it all began" connected to time order? It is about the beginning, so there will also be a middle and ending. Most writing has a main text structure with other underlying text structures. In this passage, the author uses both main idea and details and time order. Follow along and listen as I read a story about learning a lesson. A Lot to Learn. The summer of my 4th grade year, I learned important lessons about following directions and about running a successful business. It all began with my desperate longing for a skateboard. Instead of listening to my parents tell me it was too expensive, I decided to make the money myself. I would open a lemonade stand. Everyone at the park across the street was sure to want a delicious drink. First, I bought some powdered lemonade mix and tossed the package in a cooler with some water. I was excited about my first customer. I took his 50 cents and gave him lemonade. He spat it out. I want my money back. I forgot to add sugar, and I had used warm water. Oops, lesson 1. Follow the directions. After a week, business slowed. Someone around the corner was selling lemonade for half the price. I told my mom my plan to lower my prices. She said, "Don't do it. Instead, make your lemonade the best ever. Make it so good that kids won't mind paying 3 times as much." I went to the store and bought fresh lemons, ice, honey, and silly straws. That night, Mom helped me slice the lemons. I raised my price to 75 cents. Then I made fresh lemonade for each customer. Once the word was out, I couldn't keep up. I ran out of lemons before the day was done. Lesson 2. The key to running a successful business is making a great product everyone wants. At the end of that summer, not only did I have a shiny new skateboard, I had a bunch of new friends who loved my lemonade. Making lemonade. You will need a lemon cut into 4 pieces, honey, ice, water, and a shaker or cup with a tight lid, 16 ounces. 1. Fill the cup with ice. 2. Squeeze lemon slices over the ice. Put 2 of the 4 slices in the cup. 3. Add a teaspoon or so of honey. 4. Fill the cup or shaker with water. 5. Put the lid on, shake, and then shake some more. 6. Have a drink. Add lemon or honey if needed. Practice. Main idea and details. From the title and details from the story, we can find the main idea of this story. Authors use details to support the main idea of the writing. Look at the beginning of this story. How does this support the main idea? It tells how the author learned the first of 2 important lessons that summer. How did the author learn the lesson? Not following directions ended up in losing money, so she quickly learned her lesson. The last sentence directly states the lesson. This connects to the first sentence of the passage. This is the important lesson about following directions. Supporting details won't always be directly stated like they are in this example. Let's read paragraphs 5 and 6 of A Lot to Learn. After a week, business slowed. Someone around the corner was selling lemonade for half the price. I told my mom my plan to lower my prices. She said, "Don't do it. Instead, make your lemonade the best ever. Make it so good that kids won't mind paying 3 times as much." I went to the store and bought fresh lemons, ice, honey, and silly straws. That night, Mom helped me slice the lemons. I raised my price to 75 cents. Then I made fresh lemonade for each customer. Once the word was out, I couldn't keep up. I ran out of lemons before the day was done. Lesson 2, the key to running a successful business is making a great product everyone wants. What is the second lesson the author learned? How is this related to the main idea? Practice. Sequence. Authors use sequence to organize ideas in how-to writing. The writer begins with a list of things you will need to make lemonade. What follows this list? The steps to making lemonade are numbered. The writer organizes them in sequence. This means that you do step 1 first, step 2 second, and so on. Why do you think it is important to put the ice in before the water? You couldn't have a drink before you made the lemonade. Why do you think the last step is to add lemon or honey if needed? How do you know you need it if you don't taste it? Follow along and listen as I read this biography. Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker would eventually become one of the first American women millionaires. She was born Sarah Breedlove, the daughter of recently freed enslaved parents. Orphaned at age 7, Breedlove had a rocky start to life. She worked in fields and did household work as a child. She married at age 14 and had a daughter at 18. Her first husband died when she was only 20. In her early 20s, Breedlove began losing her hair. She tried everything to stop it from falling out. She worked and worked on the perfect treatment. Her second husband, Charles J. Walker, was an advertiser. He helped her get the word out about his creation. In 1910, Walker had made enough money to open her own factory and beauty school. Her business was a complete success. She soon became a self-made millionaire. Practice. Time order. Biographies are usually organized by time or the order in which events occurred in the person's life. Authors use clue words to help you identify the way they organized ideas. When you read biographies, think about the words the author uses to tell you when events happened. Revisit paragraph 1 of Madam C.J. Walker. Which words are clues about the order of events in Madam C.J. Walker's life? The word born tells you that the biography starts at the beginning of Madam Walker's life. By naming her age at each important event, the author creates a timeline of her life in the paragraph. What happened at age 7? She became orphaned. At 14, she was married. At 16, she had a daughter. At 18, she became a widow. Revisit paragraph 2 and 3. Are there more clues about important events in her life? What happened in her early 20s? What happened in 1910? A biography is the story of a person's life. It makes sense to tell the events in the order they happened. Let's review the concepts of this lesson. Structure, organization. Procedural text is organized in step-by-step order. Biographies are organized in time order. Sequence. In how-to writing, steps in a process are placed in the order they should be completed. Main idea. Authors support main ideas of writing with important details. Time order. Biographies are organized in the order in which events occurred in the person's life. Awesome words we read: desperate, eventually, enslaved. Assignment. Directions. Revisit A Lot to Learn. Write a brief outline that shows the beginning, middle, and ending of the text in time order. When you finish, show your teacher your hard work. Bring the completed paper to the next Zoom class or take a picture and upload it onto Canvas.